It's amazing. We're continuing on our second week of our holiday themed Life Talks, and we're excited that you're here today. And I'm going to throw my keys back over here and throw it to the moderator.
Good morning. Merry Christmas. In our neighborhood, there's a big turkey blow up at one of the houses, and it's holding a sign, and it says, "Hold on, Santa." Not so fast, Santa. Not so fast. We haven't had Thanksgiving yet. I used to be a real stickler for that. I'm like, I don't know. I was in defense of Thanksgiving, which Thanksgiving is one of my favorite times of the year. I love Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness. I think it's not the pressure of Christmas. Does that make sense? Not all the gifts and all that, but yet just family. And I know it's busy because you're cooking, but just being thankful and grateful and
Sometimes
gratitude.
Christmas feels like Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness.
Thanksgiving.
That's true. That was good. How do you think of those things? Just like, boom. It's so, man, it would take me a while.
I've got a weird brain.
Well, no, it's not weird. All right, so we are in week 2. Let's get going. It's 10:04, and last week was so amazing. And so we want to continue on this thought of the holidays and peace in your home, and just, I can't remember the title of what we're doing. That's why I'm just rambling. Can you remember? Does anybody remember the...
She's just in awe of the Christmas atmosphere.
I am. It's like
Home for the holidays.
Home for the holidays, yes. So, but we are in week 2, and it's cultivating a home of peace, presence, and transformation, which is so good. And so, why does this matter?
Yeah.
Let's talk about why it matters. Yeah. So, let's start with this.
Yeah.
This time of year is wrapped in the imagery and the language of peace. So, let's think of our Christmas songs. Silent Night, Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Let there be peace on earth. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, right? Cards say it, the songs sing it, decorations all display about peace. Everywhere we turn, the longing for peace is unmistakable.
Very true.
People crave it, but many quietly confess. Everywhere we turn, people crave it, but many quietly confess. I feel more anxious in this season than I do peaceful. Mm-hmm. Family pressure, financial strain.
People that you only see once a year and you don't maybe really know them.
Right? Grief from someone missing.
Yeah.
Old relational wounds.
I invited my stepdad to church on the December the 7th, which would be our second grief share. And I told him, I said, why don't you come, hang out with us, spend the night, come to church on the 7th, and then come with me to grief share. And because it'll be a Christmas without my mom.
Absolutely.
And so, but that's.
Yeah. Your grief from missing someone. So Jesus' words to Martha feel strangely accurate even at Christmas time. In Luke, he says, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. Yeah. Peace is not just difficult to find. Sometimes it's really easy to lose. And when peace leaves, our formation slows and disciplability drops. Yeah. When peace is not there. Right. But the scripture doesn't simply tell us to be peaceful. It shows us why peace can be present even when your circumstance doesn't change. Mm-hmm. Peace is not a mood to maintain, but it is a person.
Yeah, there you go.
It is a person to welcome. Isaiah says he is the Prince of Peace. So why do things change, and why do perspectives change when you realize that peace is a person? Can you all talk to that a little bit?
I don't know if this is in my sermon notes for today or these notes. Either way. Because peace is a person. And the Prince of Peace. And if he's the Prince of Peace, then he is now ruling and reigning. And it says, which might be in my notes, because it says, because I'm talking about Thanksgiving today. But it says, with thanksgiving, and let the peace of God rule in your hearts. And so thankfulness is associated with thanksgiving, but I think it's important for us to understand that the contradistinction between peace as a mood and peace as a person, right. just from a real simple theological survey, just to lay out the theological landscape, I guess what you would say is that if peace is something that is the fruit of your own energy, the fruit of your own thinking, your own emotional hyping of yourself. If peace is that, then it is a product of us, which then has to be maintained and defended by us. If peace is a byproduct of the Prince of Peace, and it is his Spirit, which is a fruit of the Spirit, then that means it is the result of the rule and reign of Jesus Christ in my life and heart, and he will defend and maintain it. So that's just a practical theology, just a quick landscape survey.
Well, I like how you often say peace means everything as it should be. And really, you can never get to that place without Jesus being involved. Right. He's the only one that actually has the power to get us to the place where everything is as it should be.
In our lives right now, he's the only place that everything is as it should be. Because there's no place else that everything is as it should be.
Yeah, if you remain in me, you'll bear much fruit, won't you? Because in him, everything is as it should be.
Okay, so he himself is our peace. So this means where the Prince of Peace is welcomed, enthroned, and obeyed, his peace will rule.
Maybe it's in this notes and in my notes.
I think it is. I think we're going to
double dip.
I know. Peace is not the absence of tension. Peace is not the absence of tension. It is the presence of Jesus Christ. Right?
In fact, one of the tests of peace is whether or not you have it when there is tension and conflict, which I often don't. Honestly.
It's like one of those crazy statements of Jesus, I've come to bring division. I've come to bring division.
What is he saying? You think I've come to bring peace.
Yeah, you think that everything is just going to be harmonized, but the truth is my way stands on its own, and it will never harmonize with that which is not my way. You talk about having peace in the home, it's like, okay, what definition of peace are we going after here? It's not just calm. It's not peace is not just quiet. It's not just lack of hurry or lack of it's everything as it should be according to his way of seeing it.
Which is what he would be saying in John when he tells the disciples, let not your heart be troubled. He's my peace I give unto you. That has to be what he's talking about, because not as the world gives. Right. The only way the world gives peace is if by peace treaties, by the elimination. Actually, what's interesting is that it's interesting because there are similarities, actually. The way that peace is gained in, I just looked and saw Brother Culver, and I'm thinking about military and homeland security and those kinds of things. And the only way that peace is captured in a hostile world is that the dominant player prevails. Peace doesn't happen until the dominant one prevails. And so in homeland security, how do we have peace? We have to be able to prevail over those who would try to disturb the peace, and there's many ways that that's accomplished, but it's just a prevailing over. But in Christ, it's a different kind of prevailing over. It's not a dominance over, it's not a dominance over others because he gave his life for others. It's a dominance over everything that's hostile to our well-being, which ultimately is death, hell, and the grave. And so he's conquered all of those things. And so when he says, my peace I leave with you, right, not as the world gives, give I to you. So he's giving peace, and it is a peace that comes through ultimate domination, but it's not dominating in a way that Cain dominates over Abel. It's not dominating the way.
Right, it's going right into this. So when peace rules, okay, it doesn't merely soothe emotions, it reorders the home under the lordship of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, when you have a peace treaty, each side has to align with the conditions established.
And the loser acquiesces to, you don't usually have a peace treaty where two people are like, you know what, we're at a real stalemate here, let's just stop fighting. I mean, it's kind of like Russia and Ukraine right now, but like, I mean, in most world conflicts don't happen that way. Right. People, they don't just get together and go, are you tired of fighting? Yeah, I'm tired of fighting. I mean, it usually doesn't happen until someone feels like, you know what? Yeah.
And so if you want to have peace, align with Jesus' terms and conditions.
Right. So where peace rules, or where Jesus is ruling in the home, we see, I love this, are y'all ready? Harsh words bow to blessing.
Wow. That's so good.
These are good. Just get ready. Harsh words will bow to blessing.
Yeah, thanksgiving versus thanksgiving.
Anxiety bows to trust. Offense bows to forgiveness.
Bow. It makes obeisance.
This is when Jesus rules.
Bow to what does bowing do? Let's flesh that out for crying out loud.
Okay, let's do it.
What is happening when somebody's bowing?
Submitting.
One of the words for worship in the Old Testament was to bow, to lower yourself.
Yes. To lower yourself.
Right.
And he called, it's interesting because he called the children of Israel a stiff-necked people, right? It's not that they slept wrong, right?
Which is awful.
Right. It's because they had a reluctance to bend, bow, whatever. So bowing is acknowledging the greater, acknowledging the rule of something. It is making obeisance to or acknowledging the authority or lordship of someone or something else.
Right. So harsh words bow to blessing. Anxiety bows to trust. Offense bows to forgiveness. Control bows to surrender. And chaos bows to prayer. Peace doesn't just calm the room. It reorders the room under Jesus Christ when he's truly Lord. So stop and think about your home.
Well, in I think it's Colossians 3, he's talking about that we have been put into one body in peace. And he said, and if you have an issue against a brother, this is what it said, even if you have an issue against a brother, even as Christ Jesus forgave you, so you forgive them. Like that is as much of a commandment as do not cut your hair. Yes, and we take people off the platform. Yes. But do we take people off the platform because they have unforgiveness? It's just as much a command.
Absolutely. And the thing is, cutting your hair, you see it, and it's like, oh, we know. But things that are in your heart.
Yeah. You don't know it until their bitterness defiles many. And
it does defile many.
Yeah.
Yep.
So why does peace matter for discipleship? Let's transition to that. Without peace, the home will become spiritually resistant if there's not peace.
True.
People will shut down and not open up, and you have to be open to be disciplable.
Okay, so from a because you're on discipleship here real quick. Why is that?
Real quick.
No, I know. We got to get through this. But why is that? Why? Read that again because I want to hear that first thing that you said.
Without peace, the home becomes spiritually resistant.
Resistant.
People shut down and not open
Shut down.
up.
Right. Okay. So, from a counseling perspective, when you see like family systems theory, right? Okay. People who are resistant or shut down is when everyone in the family has gone into defense mode. That's a classic. It's an absolute in family system theory. Dr. Murray Bowen talked about anxiousness, anxiety, speeding up conflict and whatever. And he said, basically, he says, when people begin to become resistant to one another, they become isolated and whatever, it is a sure indication that everyone is defending themselves from whatever feels dangerous.
Right, so people shut down and not open up. Hearts become guarded and not receptive. Defense. Emotions take over formation, and discipleship turns into correction instead of transformation. People cannot grow where they cannot breathe.
Right. It's true.
The Prince of Peace, or Jesus, creates the environment where transformation can take root.
And my idea there was, I got to say this because I often don't quote the notes, but the point I was making when the idea I was saying was people can't grow where they can't breathe, was the idea that to create the mental imagery of everyone's holding their breath. And that's when everyone's holding their breath, it's this moment of like, and you think about like an awkward moment or a bad moment in a home or a holiday, like somebody says something, and you're like, and everybody goes, and they hold their breath, and they're like, oh God, have mercy, here we go. And so people don't, and you're like, just breathe, breathe. But that's the thing, like holding your breath, right? So things can't grow if they can't breathe.
Things can't grow. I don't know if anybody's sending comments in. I probably need to be checking that. I forgot. Sorry, guys. I'll pull them up real quick if you are. Nope. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. Hold on. We have one. Let's just do it. Oh. I heard a counselor once say that if you have to protect your peace, maybe you don't actually have peace.
No, that's good. No, that's very good.
That is very good.
Or if you have to protect your peace, it's your peace.
Right.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Not the Prince of Peace.
So that would be more biblical counseling, right? If you have to protect your peace, it's your peace. Yeah. And if it's your peace, then what does that tell you that you need to do next?
Right.
Not to get off on a rabbit trail, but sometimes our love for boundaries just reveals our actual problem.
Oh, that is
right. Keeping people out of your. Yeah, don't get me going on
Sorry.
this.
it's true.
There's a pop psychology, pop culture thing right now about boundaries, and oof.
If you can follow scriptural boundaries, it's good. If you have to follow,
Jesus allowed.
this is a whole nother thing.
No, I'm not doing it.
True.
I'm not doing it.
Go ahead, Jesus.
Well, Jesus embraced vulnerability.
That's the thing. Jesus said he brought down the middle wall of partition. Jesus is not a boundary builder.
No.
He's not a fence builder. He's not in relationship context. He is a restorer.
Yes.
Who put the hedge around Job?
Yes.
God.
We're called to live redemptively. We're not called to say, I'm going to create these boundaries.
You can't,
You can't get past it because I'm just going to, okay, all right.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So we'll get into that at some point because that is really a good topic that I think, and it's relevant for today.
Has to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You got to have his peace.
It's more
Right.
it's more secular. I've always loved Henry Cloud, but Henry Cloud's gotten a little wacky lately, but it's no, he has. He really has. And it's more secular than biblical.
Yes.
And if it's biblical, what are we doing? We're working toward restoration. Right. We're redemptive people. We've been redeemed and we live redemptively.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. Okay.
I'm sorry, man.
That has everything to do with what we're talking about today, because if we're going to have the peace of God in our home, Jesus is really clear that we have to be the kind of people that lay down ourselves for others. And we have, if we're going to have Jesus establishing our home so that everything is as it should be, we have to return to that place where Jesus is our resource, he's our safety, he's our provider.
Yep.
I mean, we can't have any of what we're talking about today if we don't start there.
Well, and the problem is too is, and I guess this does have to do with the home and whatever, and family relations and so on, and I know this is a tricky, it's like, you know, it's a tricky topic because there are situations where there are real threats and, you know, whatever, but. I mean, hopefully we're mature enough in here to understand. We know that. We all know that, right? There are real threats. There are real, you know, whatever. It's not something you're making up. But here's the thing. This is, okay, from a purely theological standpoint. I mean, we got to be biblical people. We have to be. And when I say theological, I'm saying the study of how God reveals himself. Okay? The way God reveals himself is he came walking for Adam and Eve in the middle of the garden when they just rebelled. Right. And he came looking to restore.
Right, and they were putting themselves above him. Of all times, he should have not wanted to even be with them or around them.
Right. Yet, and see, okay, so this is my thing. Okay, so if somebody creates a boundary and says, "I'm keeping you out because ... that robs their peace. And in the scripture, what we're taught is to work towards mutual peace. We've been called into the body to be in peace together. Everything that we read in scripture is reconciliation based, it's restoration based. Okay, I'll get off that.
Okay, so let's go on because this is good and I don't want to not get over all of it today. So trading emotional reaction for spiritual response. Emotional reaction for spiritual response. Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 through 8 gives the posture of spiritual response. So let's talk about what those are. Replace anxiety with prayer. Replace anxiety with prayer.
Be anxious for nothing, but with everything.
Replace reaction with reflection.
Yeah.
Replace. Yeah. I see people taking notes. I'm gonna try
reaction, reflection. Okay. Reaction is a reflex to fusion.
Right.
Reflection creates differentiation. Yeah. And differentiation helps people. Doesn't mean that you're not mad still. It just means I have enough emotional maturity to put my anger over here and my rational thinking over here and say, I'm not going to act out of that, even though everything inside me is screaming to just thump them in the forehead.
We're under the law of God.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Under the rule and reign of the Prince of Peace.
Under the rule and reign, under his kingdom. Replace agitation. How many get agitated sometimes in the holidays? I saw a hand.
Sometimes even not in the holidays.
Yes. Replace agitation with gratitude. Find something to be thankful about. Why am I thankful for that person? Why am I thankful for this situation? Why am I thankful? Gratitude. Replace harshness with blessing. I love that. It's twice now that it's talked about that. Blessing. Replace harshness with blessing. That's so good. Replace focus on offense with focus on what is true and praiseworthy. Whatsoever things. It will change your mindset because it's not only science, it's biblical. It will change your mindset. Be grateful. How we respond in anxious moments teaches our household either one of two things, the flesh way or the Jesus way. What are you teaching your household?
And disciples are people that are willing to, when the Jesus way confronts our way, disciples are people that are willing to put down their way and pick up the Jesus way.
The Jesus way.
It doesn't. I don't care how long you've been in church.
Nope.
I don't care if you've been in church for 20 years or 25 years or 30 years or whatever. If you're not willing to put your way down and pick up the Jesus way, you may still be saved, but you are not disciplable.
Absolutely. Question, what do you...
But that's negative. But if you are the type of person that says, I'm going to speak a blessing. But if you
Speak a blessing.
if you are, because we don't have to do correction here. The people of God want the Jesus way, clearly.
Yes.
And so if you look at your way and you say, my way's not producing peace. My way's, I got inner conflict. I don't like how I feel. I don't like how I feel about them. I don't like how, you know what, Jesus, this is not your way. And Jesus comes and he says, this is my way. And you're like, wow, that's harder. And he's like, it's actually choosing the hard, because your way is hard. The way of a transgressor is hard.
And you're miserable. You're
The
miserable inside.
the Jesus way is hard to our flesh. It's just that sometimes the choice isn't between. Sometimes the choice isn't between hard and easy. The choice is between which hard would you prefer.
Right. Being healthy is hard. But being unhealthy is also hard.
That's right.
But right.
Pick your heart.
But isn't it weird how
pick your heart.
the longer you're healthy, the easier it becomes?
I need to get to that part.
I know,
so that
and
I
it's
can see
hard.
the good part.
It's hard. But stopping sugar is hard, and it is, your body screams at you. But all of a sudden, you cross over and you're like, oh, I don't even want it. Same thing. It's hard for a minute. Okay, question. What do you do when there is aught between you and someone else? You want to apologize and ask for forgiveness for your part, as you know it will give you more peace, but they don't give you the chance to.
Somebody saying this.
That's a question.
We're called to,
Freely give.
we're called to. Forgiveness is the act whereby we free another person from the offense.
Which brings you.
If I go and ask for forgiveness, then I've been the offender. If I go work toward reconciliation, restoration, and the person rejects it, then I extend forgiveness.
Right. That's good.
It's forgiveness is the end result either way. You either extend your forgiveness. Somebody one time came, and I'm going to be real. Somebody one time came and said that there was a really bad situation going on, and they asked for some money. I will pay it back, blah, blah, blah. And they took the money, left the church, and then used the check to say, see, Pastor Dillingham's back in this. Right. And I was like, Lord, take it out of their hiney, shave it off like ham, God. And the Lord's like, is that how you want me to do you? Because, right? And you know what I did? The way I forgave was I literally called that person and said, hey, you don't have to pay that back. That whatever it is that you said that was, you know what it was, and it's yours, and you don't owe me anything. I forgave the debt. That's what forgiveness is.
Absolutely. So, you're not responsible for what they do. You're responsible for what you do. Okay, sacred rhythms that welcome the Prince of Peace. Let's talk these real quick. Peace is not maintained passively. It is cultivated intentionally.
Peacemakers.
Through holy rhythms.
Peacekeeper versus peacemaker.
Yes.
Peacekeepers, I love peacekeepers because they just want everything to be peace, and it's amazing.
If you're a 9 on the Enneagram, you're a
Keeper. Yeah, peacekeepers are amazing, but peacemaking is hard.
I thought 9s were the bad ones.
I beg your pardon.
Which
I
one
am a
am
9.
I'm the bad one. Which one's that one?
I don't know. I don't know. I just
Either
know I'm a 9.
6 or 7.
6, 7.
Oh, don't even say 6 or 7. Are you kidding me right now?
I don't know
You're
where
going to
that
be a meme. Okay. So let's talk about these rhythms, holy rhythms. Here we go. Speak peace over your home every single morning. Yes. Jesus, Prince of Peace, rule over our home today. Every morning. Start your morning. Speak peace over your home. Interrupt anxiety with prayer. When tensions rise, stop, halt, breathe. They always tell you to breathe, breathe, and pray. Protect the gate of the home. I love this. Here we go again. I'm going to hit all these. Clamp down on disrespect,
Yes.
chaos,
Yes.
sarcasm,
Yes. Yeah, no. Yes.
sarcasm, harsh tones. Don't speak harshly. There's no reason.
Right.
Don't speak harshly to each other. If you start to speak harshly over things, stop it. Just make yourself stop and say, why am I talking in that tone? There's really no reason I should be not speaking in harsh tones.
It's either a result of become habitual,
Yes.
or you're speaking out of
And
frustration.
it could be habitual. It's
Yeah.
just what you naturally do.
And
Just don't.
certain people are just kind of snarky.
Okay, but don't be snarky.
Well-
Because you've got to protect the gate of the home, right?
Are you?
I'm
She's a
not being
peacemaker.
snarky.
I was gonna say,
I'm being
are you-
serious.
come on
Don't
now,
be
are you-
snarky.
You're speaking out of your nineness right now.
Spiritual neglect. Protect the gate of your home. It's so important. They always say women are the gatekeepers, but it goes across the whole, it's everybody. Everybody, protect the gate of your home. Replace complaint with gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is the warfare of peace.
That is so good. Yeah.
Okay?
Wield that sword.
Yeah. And one more. Use the table as a space of peace and presence. This is really important. Ask when you sit down at the table together, which you should do at some point. You may not be able to do it every single day, but man, strive for it every day. We've missed that. We don't have that as much as we did. Avery sometimes is working later, she's not hungry, and we don't get to sit down together at the table, and we don't. He's never happy when that happens. Never happy. But ask 3 simple questions when you sit down together. What are we grateful for today? What's something you're grateful for today? Where have we seen God at work? Or who needs our prayer this week? And take it outward. Who needs our prayer this week?
Wow. That's awesome.
You know, I think the beautiful thing about all the things that you just mentioned demonstrate that sometimes it requires bringing the tension to the surface to create peace. And this is where we need to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. This is where we need to be. This is where I think it's so important for us to be the kind of people who say, not if I did anything to offend you.
Right.
I mean, that's not even an apology. If you got a problem, I'm sorry you got a problem. That's not an apology. The apology begins with, right? If you've got a problem, I'm sorry you got a problem. That's what that apology sounds like. Like, if I did anything to offend you. I mean, you could very well say, if you've got a problem, I'm sorry you've got a problem.
Right.
But if you say, clearly I've done something, and I don't like what it's caused between us, how can I help make things better and restore what I know is valuable between us? That's redemptive language. And here's the thing, that it will be a tense moment. Yeah. And sometimes what happens is we avoid those kinds of tense moments. I had a pastor one time tell me, he said, when the church is rolling in revival and you've worked and worked and worked and worked and worked for revival, and the church is rolling in revival, and then the enemy comes in and he's going to do whatever he can do to stop it. And he said, as a pastor, do not avoid those tension places of correction, because you are creating the kind of peace that maintains the momentum. You think that you're going to maintain the momentum by just saying, hopefully just the moment will steamroll those little things that are going on. But he said, really, go to that person and say, hey, I've been noticing, I love you, but, you know, and actually deal with that. Because what happens is when things finally start going the way you want them to go, you really get into peacekeeper mode. God, let's just keep this thing going, man. I've dealt with stuff, and we've pushed and we've prayed and we've, you know, whatever, and now we're seeing some things, whatever. He said, when you get into revival, don't just get into taking out the pom-poms and becoming a cheerleader. Still be a leader. Still pastor and correct, because you're actually helping the church maintain the season.
That's very good.
It's like Jesus did with Martha. She came with a complaint against her sister, but Jesus looks at her and says, you are troubled about many things.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus wasn't mean, but he wasn't afraid to call it out.
He was willing to say to Martha, Martha, Mary isn't your problem. Mary is just something what Mary has chosen is something that's revealing something in you.
Let's hit one more question before we finish with, we only have one section left and it just is good. So what if you're not the head of the household? Is it possible to change the atmosphere of the home as the child living as the child when your parents aren't living in peace?
Wow.
Is that possible? So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say you can help change the atmosphere. Again, remember, you're not responsible for what they do. But you can walk in gratitude and you can walk in peace, because peace is not an emotion. Peace is a person, and you can call that person down. Yep. And so you walk in peace.
And I think it would have, those are great words. I think that would reflect also toward when the Bible talks about if you are a wife who has a husband who isn't saved. It said, while they behold your chaste conversation, they see the kingdom way come alive in you. I think it's hard. That's a very hard thing, because you can't get in the mode of being a corrector. I think the best way that you could honor your parents is by being the Jesus model. And it doesn't matter where you sit in any relationship, when you start displaying and manifesting the Jesus-like, Christ-like pattern, it will have an effect.
Light will be shown.
Like when Jesus was in the temple when he was 12, and his parents were frantically searching for him. They were not in a condition of peace, but Jesus gave a fair and subtle reminder. I must be about my Father's business.
Yes. Be the light. You be the light. It's not easy.
No, that's hard. That's a hard.
Okay, so the very last thing, a peace-filled home becomes a greenhouse of transformation when there's peace in the home. A peaceful home is not an escape from reality. It becomes the environment where transformation and discipleship can take root. So there's true discipleship can happen when there's peace in the home. In homes where the Prince of Peace is welcome, confession becomes possible.
Yes.
Healing begins. Listening grows. Disciplability increases. His presence is felt, and transformations starts happening naturally. The home that hosts peace becomes the home that hosts presence. And the home that hosts presence becomes the home where disciples are formed.
That's very good.
That's so good. Wow. So what is your home going to look like over the holidays? You can start right now. You can start bringing peace right now into your home. Simple. It sounds simple, right? just follow those few steps, but be intentional.
Yeah.
That's how to make it happen. Be intentional.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. 100%.
Any last words before we go?
Not from me.
Home for the holidays. We want our homes and beyond. Home for the holidays and beyond.
Yeah.
way
cultivate it in this season so that you can have
cultivate
it all
it. Absolutely. It's 10:42. So we are going to dismiss. You have 3 minutes until you have to get your children. So I'm sorry that right now they're not taking cards, I don't believe, at the cafe. The iPad is down, and so they're taking cash only. So if there's, you can still get a donut and coffee, though. All right. Love you all.